And I decided to use post-intentional phenomenology for a myriad of reasons. Number one, my research study is looking at the phenomenon of women who love women in Jamaica. To date, no phenomenological study has been done in Jamaica on this topic. Number two, exploring the phenomena, therefore I need to use a phenomenological study. Number three, in post-intentional phenomenology, Bobby writes about the phenomena as becoming. So I'm looking at the phenomena to see glimpses of it as it's becoming. I'm looking at the phenomena as a social phenomena, as Bobby states. I'm looking at the phenomena to see tentative manifestations of this phenomena. I'm not looking at it to capture it. I'm not thinking about it in terms of it being static. I'm looking at the phenomena as it's appearing in multiple ways. And that's what Barbara writes about in his book, Crafting Phenomenological Research. That is functioning. So for me to do a post-intentional phenomenological research, I had to design my research to follow a 5-component design. And I'm going to be talking about them throughout this presentation. So the first one that I spoke about already, I identified the phenomena, meaning women who love women in Jamaica. The rest of them I'll be talking about as I go through my presentation, the way I gathered my data, my post-reflection journal, and reading and writing my way through the data as I analyzed it, and crafted a text, which I'm sure I did. So, I want to share with you my participants. So my participants are 4 self-identified women who love women in Jamaica. The age range of my participants at the time of the study was 27 to almost 40. My participants all lived in neighboring communities in Jamaica. At this moment, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about each of my participants so you can get a picture of each of them in your minds. The first participant I want to talk about is Tracy. Tracy was the youngest participant in my study. At the time of my study, Tracy was 27 years old. Tracy identifies the woman who loves women. However, she has never been in a committed relationship with a woman. At times, Tracy can be seen in more feminine type attire, and sometimes she can be seen in masculine type attire, depending on the mood that she's in at the moment. And I'm talking about attire, masculine and feminine, because I'm going to be touching on that later on. The next participant in my study, I call her Aja. Please note these are all pseudonyms. I call her Aja. Aja has been my best friend since 7th grade in high school. Aja, in my opinion, is totally feminine. At the time of my study, Aja was in a 10-year relationship with a woman. However, she dated men simultaneously to look the part of her heterosexual. That's a different statement. Alright, the next participant in my study is Robin. Robin refers to herself as a thug, a rebel, or a butch. Robin can be typically seen in basketball shorts, white t-shirt. She wears her hair natural, in a ponytail, or braided backwards in cornrows, as we call it on the island. And as I stated before, I was a participant in my study. I will consider myself feminine. And at the time of my study, I was in a 7-year relationship with a woman. Now I'm going to go into data collection. So I collected my data winter 2015 to early spring 2016. And I used 4 data sources: participants' written memories, semi-structured interviews, our reflection on 2 dancehall songs and my post-reflection journey. The procedures. I flew to Jamaica winter 2015 to collect my data. I stayed at Adja's house. While we were there, I was collecting my data. I wanted to collect my data. All of my participants were there with me every single evening. I tried to have conversations with participants. No one wanted to engage me in a conversation. Everyone had their phones out, so I took out my phone. Participants text me, please send me the writing prompt. I will respond via text. I was a little bit hesitant to do that. It was very frustrating for me. However, I had to come to this day, August 9th, very different. So I sent the participants my writing prompt via text, even though we were sitting in the same living room. Similar things happened with the interview. No one wanted to utter the word. No one wanted to have that conversation with me. So I text them the questions and send follow-up questions or probing via text. Participants and I, we dance, and Jamaicans love to dance. We love music. We danced several dancehall songs in Adja's house. We voted on our favorite song at the moment because they come out every single day. So we voted on our favorite song. And our favorite song was Martin-Kerr by Vibes Cartel. I'm going to tell you about that later on. And we spoke about why this is our favorite song. Even though it's laden with home negative lyrics, we still dance to it. And to be honest, to this day, I'll dance with it right now. So then I also wrote in my post-reflection journal, Bible states that researchers need to do an initial entry in their post-reflection journal right before the beginning of their research to know what beliefs and what's motivating you. So I did that, and throughout my research process, I wrote in my post-reflection journal, and my post-reflection journal was a part of my thesis. So I gathered all of this data, and I read through the data, and I wrote through the data according to Bagley's component. That is the 4th component of a post-intentional design. And my findings. For Bagley's post-intentional phenomenology, he doesn't call them findings, he calls them tentative manifestations, but I just put findings there to make it pretty simple. So the tentative manifestations came about as I read through the data, I coded the data, as something moved me, as I saw similar things coming up in the data. I also depended on Robin a lot to help me read through this data and come up with tentative manifestations. So there are 4 tentative manifestations that came out of the data sources. The first tentative manifestation that we saw was fear. The next one that came up was care. The next one, hope. And the last one that we identified was being diseased. And I'm going to be talking about these tentative manifestations right now. So the data showed that participants showed some signs of fear being manifested externally and also having some form of internal fear. At this moment, you have Tracy's memory in front of you. And I'm going to read through Tracy's memory, and I'm going to be talking about the tentative manifestations, just examples. These are just quick examples. So the writing prompt, zoom in on one specific moment in your life when you had to hide your love for women. One specific moment when I had to hide my love for women was when I was much younger, just left college, and my now ex-boyfriend and I were having problems. He's someone my mom loved a lot, and I think it's because he was the reason she thought I made a comment to my mom saying, no, you're not going to say nothing bad about him. To which she replied, no, don't say that. If he's wrong, he's wrong. But I do love seeing you with that boy because for a long time I thought you were going to be a lesbian. My sister joined in and agreed that she too thought I was going to be a lesbian. For a moment, I just stopped and looked at them in complete shock as I was about to take brave heart and say, so what if I am? My mom just gave out, you know what, no homosexual or HIV people around me. And I can't forget how disgusted she looked as she said it. I had to pause, then burst out into laughing and try not to look guilty by saying to them, I'm not into those things. I'm just a tomboy because I grew up rough with all the boys. At that point, I realized that telling my family how I felt about women emotionally and sexually is going to be a real challenge. So just from Tracy's data, you realize that there were glimpses of fear. Tracy's mom and her sister feared that she was a woman who loved women, and Tracy also feared to tell her mom and her sister that she is a woman who loves women. You don't have Robin's data in front of you, but I'm going to give you a quick summary of Robin's data. Robin's girlfriend lives abroad. The girlfriend came down to visit Robin, and they had a beautiful time. Robin brought her back to the airport so she could go back home. And at the airport, in her memory, Robin wrote this, which showed signs of fear. I wanted to kiss her so passionately and couldn't because of where we were and the views of my fellow countrymen and women. Robin was afraid of kissing her girlfriend at the airport because of the possible repercussions. The next tentative manifestation that came out of the data is the idea of care. So care came up as caring for the women in our lives and caring about our families and about how we were perceived by society. And as you can see from Tracy's data, you can just look quickly with me at line 17 when Tracy stated, I had to pause, then burst out into laughter and try not to look guilty by saying to them, I'm not one of those things. Tracy cared how she was being perceived by her mom and her sister. That's how I was reading this. Her mom and her sister also cared for her because they didn't want Tracy to be identified as a woman who loves women in Jamaica because of what would possibly happen to Tracy. So apart from fear and care, the next tentative manifestation that came out of the data is the idea of hope. And back again to Tracy's data set, you could see that there was a lot of hope in Tracy's data. The mom hoped, the sister hoped, Tracy hoped. So, for example, the mom hoped when she said, I do love seeing you with that guy because for a long time I thought you were going to be a lesbian. I hope you were not a lesbian. Tracy's sister hoped that she was not a lesbian. And Tracy hoped that she could have told her mom and her sister that she is a woman who loves women. So we have fear, care, hope. And the last tentative manifestation that I identified from the data set is the idea of being diseased. So Martin-Kerr, they did a study in 2005, and from their study, they concluded that HIV, AIDS is perceived as a gay disease in Jamaica. So, Tracy's memory, you can look right online at line 15, when her mom states, "We don't want no homosexual or HIV people around me." Her mom is basically equating women who love women to people who are diseased, to people who have a disease. Tracy wrote this in our Jamaican dialect because it has more oomph to it. She did not say, "I don't want any homosexuals or HIV people around me." No, me don't want them around me. Because she truly wants Tracy to understand that these people are diseased. That's the way I'm analyzing it. Remember I spoke about our dancehall music before? Now I'm going to show you an example of disease coming up from the dancehall music, coming through the dancehall music. Our favorite dancehall artist is Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel wrote this beautiful song, "Romping Shop," with a lady artist called Spice. So the introduction of the song, Vybz Kartel says, "Every man we have a gal." Spice states, "And every gal we have a man." Vybz Kartel states, "Man to man, gal to gal, that wrong." Spice then interjected, "Scorn them." As I listened to this song like about 100 times when I was doing my dissertation, it reminded me of the story in the Bible where the lepers were scorned at the time, and Jesus had to heal them. That's what it reminds me of. So basically, women who love women, you're diseased, you're supposed to be scorned. Or men who love men, you're diseased, you're supposed to be scorned. So that's one example of disease coming up. So, I collected my findings, I collected my data, I read through, and I came up with the tentative manifestations. Then I analyzed my data. I analyzed my data using Thinking with Theory. It was designed by Jackson and Mazzai. 2011, they published a paper on this from a conference proceeding. 2012, they did a book on Thinking with Theory. So Thinking with Theory is a data analyst framework where Jackson and Mazzai, they see data as being partial, data as being incomplete, data as being retooled, data as being re-remembered. This aligns, Thinking with Theory aligns with post-intentional phenomenology. That's why I decided to use Thinking with Theory. Because Wildley, he doesn't use those words as being retold and remembered, but Wildley sees the data as leaking, slipping, eluding, and fleeing. So this aligns beautifully with Thinking with Theory. So for Jackson and Mazzai, their idea is to plug in theory into the data to see what becomes or what is made from this, and to plug in the data into the theory to see what new interpretations are produced. So that's what I did. So I plugged in 3 theoretical concepts into my data. I plugged in the concept of orientation by Sarah Ahmed. I plugged in the concept of performativity by Judith Butler, and I plugged in the concept of the erotic as power by Audre Lorde. And at this moment, I'm going to be talking about each of the concepts that I plugged in the data. So orientation. What is orientation? So Ahmed sees orientation as sexual direction. it is used to straighten queer sexualities. So queer sexualities, such as women who love women, they're offline or slanted. And heterosexuality is used to bring queer sexuality into right alignment or to reorient them. Looking at Tracy's data, at the beginning of Tracy's data, she wrote one specific moment when I had to hide my love for women was when I was much younger. At the first line, you could see the direction that Tracy has taken in life. She's a woman that loves women. However, throughout Tracy's data, she was reoriented towards heterosexuality because the woman remained absent throughout the data. And you can also see that this woman was not me. So I read this as Tracy, being a Jamaican, living in homonegativity. She writes from a heterosexual perspective. And she basically denies that she's a woman that loves women. She was reoriented. Heterosexuality was used as a straightening device to get her back into right alignment. That's just one example. Another example. The other theory that I use is the idea of performativity by Judith Butler. For Butler, performativity is a construct produced and maintained through gender. Am I a boy or am I a girl? Am I blue or am I pink? Gender is performed by male and female through bodily gestures, styles and movements, language. These acts must be constantly repeated for one to be identified as masculine or feminine. If you look at Tracy's data, look at line 18, you will realize that Tracy laughed and referred to herself as a tomboy. So Tracy's bodily acts were neither masculine nor were they feminine. So because they weren't masculine or feminine, this confused the mom and the sister. They wanted Tracy to act feminine because she is a female. The next theory that I looked at is the erotic as power by Audre Lorde. For Lorde, the erotic is powerful for women. Women use their erotic power when they share their deepest feelings with other human beings in their lives. Women use their erotic power when they're honest. Women use their erotic power when they want to be powerful internally. Women use their erotic power to be fulfilled. Women use their erotic power to be totally satisfied. And the erotic power is not only a sexual power, it's an intellectual power. When I read crafting phenomenological research, I'm using my erotic power because I'm totally satisfied. When I read queer phenomenology by Sarah Ahmed, my erotic power is coming through because I'm totally satisfied. It makes me happy. So that's what the erotic power is. It's an intellectual power. It's a sexual power, physical power. When I work out at the gym, it's the power of the erotic that is coming through me. So throughout the research, I realized that women who love women in Jamaica, they use their erotic power sometimes to share their deepest feelings with others. For example, Tracy used her erotic power at the beginning of her story. She was laughing with her mom and her sister. They were having good conversations. That's the use of the erotic power. However, she denied her erotic power. She wasn't honest with herself. She wasn't true to herself when she stated, I'm not one of those things, I'm just a tomboy. So, analyzed my data and I read and I wrote through my data. As a qualitative researcher, I know that my study has limitations. So there are several limitations to my study. One, I'm a cultural insider. I'm Jamaican and I'm studying my culture. Two, I'm a participant in my study. The personal then becomes academic, and that can be very subjective. Three, my study took place in one island in the Caribbean, one little region in Jamaica. Four, I use specific methodology and I use specific theories to analyze my findings. So those are some of the limitations in my study. But this does not make the data that I collected less valuable. I collected detailed and dense data that is worthy to be shared. So my study has limitations, but it also has implications. And I came up with 3 implications for my study. Implications for policymakers, implications for teaching and learning, and implications for future research. So findings from my study support existing research that suggests the current heteronormative policies in Jamaica are punitive and discriminatory toward women who love women. There is a possibility that if we change our policies in Jamaica, the public's view of women who love women may change, and these women's view of themselves will probably change over time. The Jamaican government needs to change punitive and discriminatory policies that negatively shape the lived experiences of women who love women. The next implication for my study is for teaching and learning. Students should be given the opportunity to learn about people who are similar to them and people who are different from them. The classroom environment and the school's curriculum should serve as a window and a mirror, according to Gala. As a mirror, students should be able to look in the classroom environment and the school's curriculum and see their values being represented. And as a window, students should be able to look through the classroom curriculum and the environment and see the values of others being represented. Therefore, students should be educated to value differences and not view differences as deficits. My study also has implications for future research. I did a post-intentional phenomenology study. Other qualitative research needs to be done around this topic. Other qualitative methods could be used, such as case studies, narrative inquiry, and other ethnographic methods could be used to gather and come under further insight into the lived experiences of these women. I also use specific theorists to analyze my data. Other theorists could be used to further make meaning of the lived experiences of these women. Theorists such as Bronwyn Davis could be used. Simone de Beauvoir could be used to make other meaning of the data. I asked specific research questions. Similar research questions could be asked. Different research questions could be asked to just explore the lived experience. In concluding, it's my hope that my research will generate further lines of inquiry pertaining to women who love women in Jamaica. I'm hopeful that my study will begin to disrupt the heterosexual, homosexual binary that is being normalized in Jamaica. And most importantly, I hope that my study makes the stories of women who love women in Jamaica part of our nation's stories that are going to be told. Correct. Yes, my name.
The dance hall lyrics that are so typical and predominant in dance hall music is not stemming, I don't believe, from a foundation of Christianity on the island. So where is it coming from? That's my perception, that it doesn't connect to the church, because in my experience in Jamaica, the dance hall and the church life are two separate lives. So how come there's a similar?
It's not rooted in Christianity. Our dancehall music is rooted in slavery.
Okay.
So it's coming from slavery. However, Jamaicans are strong Christians. So we merge the dancehall music with the slavery and everything with our being. And that's why the artists, they sing so much. It's all mixed in together.
Okay.
Beautiful study for us to do.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes.
So I have a ton of things I could ask. I'll keep it to one comment and one question. We'll have coffee later. So the comment is, I really think that your cultural insider position is not a limitation at all. It's a strength. And I think we need to stop saying publicly that it's a limitation, because it really isn't. Our work is so important, and we are the ones who do the work, we live the work. So please keep that in mind. My question is, I'm wondering about the fifth possible theme that you saw without saying anything. Resistance. These women are living their lives, obviously. So were there any signals of open resistance, or at least tacit resistance, or can you think through and talk through that a minute about that?
Yes, and that also came up in the literature review. Anderson Lee did a study that talked about how homosexuals are trying to resist the hegemony of heterosexuality on the island. That's basically what her study was about. So resistance came about in us in Jamaica. We have spaces that are not known, where only women who love women would go to those spaces. There's no public display of affection, but it's like, okay, it's Thursday night, everybody's going to party on it. These spaces are very class and race. That is another study that I have to do because certain class of people, then they can afford these spaces. And there is also what came out of my study that I didn't talk about a lot in my dissertation is the idea of colorism. So the people who are lighter darkness, lighter complexion, they typically have more money in Jamaica, and then these spaces, they have access to privileged spaces. Yes. So that came up in literature. I reviewed also. Yes.
So not among your participants?
No, not among my participants, because we're from a similar class and we're from similar.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Oh, Abby, I didn't see you. Yes,
I was thinking about literacy since that's where you've been to. And I wondered what your thinking was about the restrictive practices of grouping or writing or speaking with identity, and like how that might, if there's any conversation about that with schooling. I don't know, the schools in Jamaica, if there are prompts like we have here that are really largely about personal identity, but you saw it come up in your groups that you had. I just wondered if you could talk about that.
Okay, so I don't want to misinterpret your question, so I'm going to paraphrase. So you're saying like groups of students in Jamaica in elementary school, they're given certain work to do and how their identities are formed through these groups. One, Jamaica is a beautiful island. We are so educated, but we're educated via the British system. There's not a lot of grouping happening in Jamaican classrooms. And homosexuality is such a negative thing on our island. And I would surmise that even if a student would identify as a homosexual, that student life could be in danger. Charles and Chevenix, they did a content analysis, and they looked at newspaper articles where fathers beat their kids to death or give their kids to the community to beat to death because they just think that, listen, she's a homosexual, she's a mental woman, you're not my child, so you're basically cut off from the family and the community. So, in my dissertation, I wrote in chapter 1 that we're not at the point where you can be self-actualized as a homosexual individual.
Okay. I think this triggers an interesting idea of, especially here we're in this section, the mother is saying, well, we always worry that about you. And as someone who has taught communication experience, I had students that you saw in first, second, third grade who said, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I actually had a student who's now in her 20s contact me, asking if I'm going to cry and saying, I think you were about me when I was small. Not, right? So I guess I'm putting it into the context of what we're saying about information to the schools, of that delicate place you walk where a second grader is not going to something. So it doesn't do any good for adults to say, oh, I know where you're going. But yet, how do we continue to, what are the implications of how we create environments that that child can then grow up knowing they're welcome and affirmed without putting them in a place where what you struck me was how parents would have their child for that thinking. That there's this knowing without knowing. And that parents know without wanting to address it, and they just kind of have this hole. And it becomes something else even though they know. It's maybe not a question, kind of wondering about that messy gray area of identity and how identities are formed and how there seems to be a path of a right and a wrong path.
I'm going to answer your question based on what Keitha-Gail talks about in his writing. He says that the only way we can make these big changes that we want to make is through citational practices. So, as a Jamaican, as a cultural insider, the onus is not on people like me and also you, cheers to our husband, to write about these things. If we don't write about these things over time, we won't be able to change it. So probably I'm not going to be able to change it after writing about it for 20 years, but someone else will take a baton, and eventually we will see small changes. Yes, Dr. Coffee.
I'm really interested in like the texting phenomena that emerged. How did that change? How does that change? And like, how did she write about it and make sense of it?
I think I will have to author a separate paper on it because I was so disturbed by it, and I just think I need to distance myself from it. I wrote about it a lot in my post-reflection journal, but I didn't write about it a lot in my dissertation because of the construct of the dissertation. But I think I have to write about it some more to make sense of it and to accept it because that's what I did. But I wasn't happy with it, and I still am not happy with it, and I don't know if I'm at a place where I can productively talk about it and write about it and make sense of it. Because why are we in the same living room and we're texting? But we're just so, it's in our beings that we're not supposed to talk about, we're not supposed to moderate even though we're friends. So it's deep. Yes, Colleen.
I was thinking about that too, especially with but then the ability to dance together.
Yes.
So I think if you do write about it, and I hope you do, I think it would be really interesting to think about those two aspects of the phenomenon coming together and what allowed dancing
love the dancing. I love that. That would be a beautiful topic. But I love the dancing.
We have time for one more question.
Yes, Connie.
Okay, sorry.
If
Someone else wants the last question.
It's okay, Connie.
But I was just curious if, I know you said that literature was such a challenge, but I was just especially interested after hearing about, all of the influence on policies. Wondering if there was anybody in literature who had any knowledge about any kind of thought prior to
I did not see any. So the question is it based on, in the literature review, did I see anything prior to the colonial influence that could have caused this to happen? So before colonialism.
just what the thinking was, or
I read one article, it was not a empirical study, that states that parts of Africa, before we were colonized, parts of Africa, people openly had homosexual relationships. However, when we became colonized and due to Christianity, then it became an illegal act. That law that we have in Jamaica that criminalizes homosexuality, we've had it for 150 years. I mean, the British, they have repealed the law, and other Caribbean islands have repealed the law, such as Curacao and Suriname. However, there is still no anti-discriminatory laws against homosexuals.
All right. Thanks, everybody. One more time.